The four of us, me, Jake, Sarah, and Mike, piled into Jake's beat-up sedan, the kind of car that rattles like it's gone to grudge against the road. It was a crisp October night, the kind where the air bites your skin just enough to keep you awake. We were headed to the cabin deep in the woods for a weekend of cheap beer, bad decisions, and maybe a campfire if we could figure out how to start one without burning the forest down. The vibe was electric. All of us were hyped up, laughing too loud and arguing over whose playlist was trash. Jake was driving, one hand on the wheel, the other gesticulating wildly as he told some dumb story about a bar fight he swore he almost won. Sarah was in the passenger seat, swatting Jake arm to shut him up. Mike and I were in the back, passing a bag of chips and making fun of Jake's driving skills. The woods were dark, the kind of dark that swallows your headlights and make you feel like the world ends just beyond the beams. The trees loomed like silent gaints, their branches clawing at the sky. We did not care though, too caught up in the moment, the music blaring, the windows cracked just enough to let the cool air whip through. "Yo, turn it up!" Mike yelled, as some old-school punk song came on, and we all screamed the chorus, off-key and obnoxious. Then it happened. A sickening thud. The car lurched as Jake slammed on the brakes, tires screeching against the gravel road. We all jerked forward. The music cut out like it knew something we didn't. What the hell was that? Sarah's voice was sharp, her phone forgotten in her lap. Jake's hands were white-knuckled on the wheel, his eyes wide in the rearview mirror. I hit something, he stammered. Felt big. We sat there for a second, hearts pounding, the silence louder than the music had been. Probably just a deer, Mike said, but his voice wavered, like he did not believe it. I leaned forward, peering through the windshield. The headlights lit up the road ahead, but there was no shape, no movement, just an empty stretch of gravel and the endless wall of trays. "We gotta check," I said, though every part of me wanted to stay in the car. Jake nodded, his jaw tight, and we climbed out, the doors slamming louder than they should have in the quiet night. The air was colder now, sharp with the smell of pine and something else, something metallic. We walked to the front of the car, our flashlights cutting shaky beams through the dark. What we saw made my stomach twist. Blood, a lot of it. It was smeared across the road in this grotesque arc, glistening wet under the headlights. Chunks of something, flesh maybe, were scattered in the gravel, but there was no body, no animal, nothing to explain the mess. "What the fuck?" Mike whispered, stepping back like he could unsee it. Sarah gagged, covering her mouth. "That's not a deer," she said, her voice barely audible. Jake crouched down, shining his light on the blood. "There are no tracks, no drag marks. Where's the body?" We stood there frozen, the woods pressing in around us. The silence was wrong, too heavy, like the forest was holding its breath. "Let's get back in the car," I said, my voice sounding braver than I felt. Nobody argued. We scrambled inside, locking the doors like that would help. Jake started the engine, but none of us knew what to say. "Maybe it was already dead," Sarah offered, but even she did not sound convinced. Like roadkill or something. "Then where's the damn body?" Mike snapped, his usual chill gone. Jake just shook his head, pulling back onto the road. "Let's just get to the cabin. We'll figure it out there." We drove in silence, the fun spirit gone. The blood was all I could think about, too much for a deer, too fresh, too deliberate. I kept glancing in the windows, expecting to see something in the trees, but there was nothing, just darkness. About 10 minutes, the car felt heavier, like the air itself was pressing down on us. Sarah was fidgeting, Mike was staring at his hands, and Jake's eyes were glued to the road, like he was afraid to look anywhere else. Then it came. A deafening bang on the roof, like someone dropped a boulder on the car. We all screamed, the car swerving as Jake fought to keep the car in control. "What the hell was that?" Sarah shrieked, twisting to look up at the ceiling. Before anyone could answer, something wet started dripping down the windshield, thick, dark, and red. Blood. It poured in the rivulets, spreading across the glass, pooling in the wiper tracks. Jake hit the wipers, but they just smeared it, making it worse. Oh my God, Sarah was chanting, her hands shaking as she clutched the phone. "Stay in the car," Jake yelled, though no one was dumb enough to get out. The blood kept coming, seeping through the edges of the windows, trickling down the sides of the car. It was everywhere.
the smell choking us, coppery and warm. Mike was hyperventilating in the back, muttering, "This is not real, this is not real!" I grabbed his shoulder, trying to snap him out of it, but my own heart was hammering so hard I thought it burst.
"What do we do?" Sarah's voice was a sob now. Jake's hands were trembling on the wheel. "We keep driving," he said, but it sounded like he was trying to convince himself. "We are not far from the cabin. We get there, we lock the doors, we call for help." But the blood did not stop. It was pooling on the floor now, soaking onto the mats, sticking to our shoes. I looked up at the roof, half expecting something to crash through, but there was nothing, just the sound of dripping, steady and relentless. Then we heard it, a low, guttural sound, like a growl, but not quite. It came from above, from the roof, vibrating through the metal. Something was up there, something heavy. "Jake, try faster," I said, my voice barely a whisper. He floored it, the car lurching forward, but the thing on the roof did not budge. The growling grew louder, joined by a scraping sound, like claws dragging across metal. Sarah was crying now. Her phone was useless in her lap, no signal out here. Mike was gripping the door handle like he might jump out, but we all knew it was suicide. The cabin was maybe 5 minutes away when the scrapping stopped. The silence was worse. We held our breath, waiting and listening. Then a thud. Not on the roof, behind us, in the trunk. The car rocked slightly, like something has shifted back there. "What was that?" Mike's voice was a squeak. None of us wanted to look, but I turned, peering through the back windshield. Nothing but darkness. "Keep going," I told Jake, my voice shaking. "Don't stop." But the thud sound came again, louder, and the car swerved as Jake flinched. The blood was still dripping, slower now, but the smell was overwhelming, making my head spin. The growling started again, closer this time, like it was behind my headrest. I froze, too scared to turn around. Sarah screamed, pointing at the rearview mirror. "There is something back there." I forced myself to look, and for a split second I saw it. A shape in the trunk, barely visible through the small window between the seats. It was hunched, too big to fit properly, its edges blurry like it did not belong in this world. Its eyes were glowing, not like an animal, but like something that knew we were watching. Jake slammed on the brakes, and that thing slammed forward, the whole car shaking. The growling turned into a scream, not human, not animal, but something that made my blood run cold. "Go, go, go!" Mike was yelling, and Jake hit the gas, but the car was sluggish now, like it was fighting to move. The blood was everywhere, coating the windows, blinding us. We were driving blind. We were guided only by the faint outline of the road. The cabin lights flickered into view, a beacon in the nightmare. Jake gunned the car, skidding into the dirt driveway. We tumbled out, slipping in the blood that followed us, pooling around the car like it was alive. The cabin door was steps away, but the growling was back, louder, closer, coming from the car. We bolted for the door, slamming it behind us, locking it, barricading it with a table. The growling stopped, but the silence was worse. We stood there, painted in blood that was not ours, listening for any sound. Nothing. Just our own ragged breathing. Then, from the outside, a single, deliberate knock on the door. We did not answer. We did not move. But the blood was seeping from under the door now, slow and steady, like it knew we were not going anywhere.